Let's face it, life isn't easy. If you're stuck in a bad relationship, betrayed or afraid of tomorrow, financially insecure, or desperate for a breakthrough, you've come to the right place. Dr. Carmen Harra is a renowned psychologist, intuitive, relationship expert, and best-selling author, and she's here to give you the miracle guidance you need. Her new call-in show, Miracle Guidance for Everyday Life, offers profound wisdom, practical advice, daily exercises, and empowering predictions, all for you. Dr. Harra's show aims to eliminate everyday problems, big and small, with topics like healing your relationships, reclaiming your power, achieving better health, dealing with loss, and so much more. Regain the joy, stability, and fulfillment you deserve to feel. Tune in to Miracle Guidance for Everyday Life with host Dr. Carmen Harra, live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, and find the answers you've been looking for.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Miracle Guidance. I'm Carmen Harra, and I'm so excited to be with you tonight. And I invite you to call in because it's a calling show. And the topic today is a topic that was inspired about what's happening in the news right now. And it's called How to Recover from Trauma. Enduring a trauma changes us forever. Like a terrible ordeal can leave us in pain for years, impacting the way we think, the way we act, and the way we function on a daily basis. So we begin to fear that bad things will happen to us again. We can even feel like we'll never be joyful or peaceful again. But there is one rule of life, which is we must go on, no matter what. Because we are incredibly resilient beings with this ability to overcome anything. The key is not to sit around and wait for the pain or confusion to subside, but to take the right steps to rebuild our power from within. So that's why I'm doing this show, because I want to share with you what we must do in order to feel stronger again and whole again and ready to conquer each day. So it's not easy to go to trauma. And I was just listening to what happened to all of us, looking to Dr. Ford. And I don't want to make this political. I just look from the perspective of a trauma that somebody endured. That trauma will never go away. And the suffering will go dormant for a while, but then one simple episode, for instance, seeing the person who put you through the traumatic event will make that memory come back to life, even probably worse than before. So I totally understand the mechanism of trauma, the way the brain registers, the way the brain works with traumatic experiences, and how difficult it is to heal. And actually, I came up with a number of tips helping people to overcome trauma. And if you've been going through something traumatic in your life, please feel free to call in 202-570-7057. I noticed something about life. You know, when we are born, we come so innocent in this world, so pure, so unhurt. And when we are children, we learn about the world around us, and we're so impressed with the world, and the sky is the limit to a little kid. So when we're small, we believe everything is possible, and we have beautiful dreams, and then we think we can make every dream a reality. But as we get older and we start to experience the reality of life, we get hit with very hard lessons. So our hopes start to dwindle, and our field of possibility narrows. So we realize that no, life isn't as easy as we thought, and maybe we can achieve everything we want. So life hits us with trauma to the point that sometimes we look back on how we used to think as a child, and we laugh of how gullible and naive we were. In this case, we pass through the journey, getting knocked down, getting back up again, and the cycle continues. So Probably you feel the same way like I do. Probably that's your perspective of life too. But I believe that we all feel some form of a trauma sooner or later, because it's inevitable. And a trauma is a deeply distressing assault, an injury, an accident, a breakup, a divorce, a death, a loss of a home, a natural disaster, a lawsuit, a health crisis, a physical assault. So even when you think nothing can traumatize you, it can still happen. So the bigger problem is not the painful experience in itself, but the imprint that remains after major trauma. So sometimes it happens that the rest of your life you keep on remembering or manifesting traumas like this, because it's something that is called karma. Karma is the repetition. So traumas can be buried deep in our subconscious, and as I said, they become dormant, undetectable, until one single episode, one single event, something that reminds you of the person traumatizing you or the event traumatizing you, when everything resurfaces. And traumas that are not healed grow worse in time. They get attached to you, you know, and they create something within you that is some kind of a suffering and a fear that you will suffer again and again, because the effects are something that they never truly went away. So that's the problem, that getting completely healed from a trauma, it's not really possible. I can give you so many examples of people who came to me battling to clear away traumas. But I really thought that one of the major examples comes from my own heart, from my own life, from my own experience. I remember I was 20 years old and I was living in Romania. And I was a famous singer at an early age, and I often held concerts. And one night I had a performance in the center of Bucharest, in the center of Romania, which was Bucharest. And I was living in a hotel. My parents lived away from that, hours away from the city. And I remember that it was 9 p.m. I even remember the hour. I remember the room. I remember the furniture inside. I remember the ring I used to have. I remember the pajamas I had on. And all of a sudden, as I was lying in bed, I had a very strong sense of fear. My intuition that always was very, very strong, almost like I had the intuition of a dog, because a dog will know when something dangerous is happening. And I jumped out of the bed, and I had no shoes. I had just my pajamas, and I ran out of the hotel. And I saw people in the elevator who stopped and invited me to go. And I told everybody, get out of this building, get out. The people would think that I'm crazy, but they didn't have time to process anything I was saying, because in a matter of seconds, probably a minute, the worst earthquake, 7.5 on Richter scale, hit the town. And I was already out. But as I was in the street, I remember seeing buildings around me that I clearly remember them crumbling down in front of my eyes. I saw women, men being killed in front of my eyes, bodies everywhere, people cut in pieces, people strangled from different floors. Oh my God, I cannot believe to tell you the images that are still very vivid in my mind 41 years later. And I kept on running. I remember that very clearly. And I took a long time till I got to train station and took the train and went back home. Now, remember, 41 years ago, we had no cellulars, we had no Uber, we had none of the technology today. My parents thought that I was dead. thousands and thousands and thousands of people die in that night. And me, I was just in area that was hit the worst possible. So a lot of celebrities died that night. A lot of my colleagues died that night, people that I shared the stage with. So I arrived home after a long period of time, and I couldn't even breathe. I was exhausted. I was starving. My feet was swollen, bleeding. I was covered in dust and debris. And I will never forget how many months I was trying to heal, because I had those feelings associated with that, those emotions and those feelings. Anytime I'm in an airplane, 41 years later, anytime I'm in an elevator, I'm claustrophobic. So I am just telling you all of this just to show you how dramatic this is, how sad this is, and how the mental imprints are there so many years later. And I live a normal life, and I overcome many challenges. And again, I can say that this was not the only trauma in my life, because I was traumatized when my father died. I found him dead. I suffer when my husband, relatively young, discovered he had stage 4 lung cancer. So I had many difficult, but this was the worst that I think I had, because my life was on the line, and I will never forget that night. So I can only imagine for people who are traumatized, for women who've been assaulted, for physical abuse, for mental abuse, for sexual abuse, for being bullied, for even your own parents talking, screaming at you and belittling you and putting you down. So everything like this can traumatize you. So if you've suffered trauma, feel free to call me, and I will give you tips, how to overcome. We'll talk about what you've been through and how you have the power to turn around this into a victory, like you turn a tragedy into a victory. It can be done, because it's important your suffering to be heard. And it's important for you to feel like you're rewarding yourself after this, and that any storm can make you stronger and better. And talking about storm, I look about Sharon here, who's calling me, and she had a very bad thunderstorm. Hi, Sharon. How are you, my love? Can you hear me?
Hello?
Sharon?
Hi. Can you hear me
Hi.
okay?
I can hear you perfectly. How
Thank
are
you for taking my call. I'm doing
Absolutely.
well, thank you.
Okay, so what's going on? Is the weather bad?
It is. A lot of thunderstorms rolling through.
Okay, where are you calling me from? From
Illinois?
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it happens. This is a time of the year when this can happen. But do you relate to my topic?
Absolutely. I've had a lot of childhood trauma in many areas, but the last 10 years I've been caught in a trauma cycle, and it's affected everything from my health to my career to my finances. And where I really seem to struggle the most is relationship trauma and the feeling of much abandonment, betrayal. So those are the cycles I'm trying to break, but the emotions keep going back to the same old original traumas, I believe, from childhood, and I can't seem to break out of the mindset of thinking of abandonment, betrayal, etc.
That's exactly it. So what happens is that this hardship that causes trauma more difficult to be erased. So you caught in that repetition, and your negative emotions of fear that this might happen again doesn't allow you to fully heal. Yeah, it doesn't allow you to actually see the light at the end of a tunnel. And whenever you think you're coming closer to breaking through, something else happened that takes you down, or a simple episode triggers the same karma to keep on repeating. It's exactly like a virus that you can never fully heal. It's part of your system and goes dormant and then comes back and goes back and up and down all the time, like whenever you don't even want it, it's back again. So I totally relate to you. And have you done anything, any therapy, any exercises to help empower your mind?
I've done quite a bit of therapy and energy work and EMDR, and there's quite a few different modalities that I've tried. The thing is, nothing seems to stick. Like, while I'm undergoing these things, I understand the concepts and things, but I can find myself then in a new trauma, and all of it comes rushing back again, and then my emotions and my mind start swirling, and then my body gets on board, and then I can't seem to break the cycle. Then I keep kind of looping, and I'm anxious and depressed.
You're just defining it exactly for what it is. It's like you've been living it, and you've been trying your best. Have you ever tried to see beyond the moment? When it takes that great vision, that great wisdom, to take yourself from living in the present and projecting you somewhere in the future, like in which you think that all of this is gone, that everything is resolved, that there's a greater purpose in the painful moment, that you've learned something out of it, that it's like you close your eyes, you take a deep breath and allow yourself, to see the scope and what's the reason behind it, and then envision the positive outcome out of it, like a solution to it, in which you see yourself in a total different, like you put yourself on a pedestal high in the universe and you have no attachment to it, like you cut the cord. Because it's like the problem with the trauma, you need to cut the cord. In a metaphoric way, cut that trauma completely out of you and bury it, and do all this ritual that will help you cleanse from it, so that the memories are fully deleted, because you don't want them dormant. You want them to be erased. Exactly like you erase the memory in a computer,
Each time I feel as though, okay, I've transformed. I feel like I understand that trauma and I'm stronger for it, and hoping it's not going to repeat, and it seems to, repeat again, and I get caught in the same mental, emotional cycles of it. And I feel like it's like, rinse, repeat. It's like it happens even though I think I have.
And that's what this is all about, is the repetition. Yeah, the repetition. That's what's so difficult to deal with. And then this is where, by keep on repeating, it ends up by affecting your body. So from the mental level, it goes into a physical. And then what is really creating a real problem in the physical body. That's why to eliminate trauma is also very good to do some movement exercises, like raises the level of good feel hormones, stabilize the mental state. Do you do any walking, sport, swimming, any kind of a dancing, any kind of an exercises?
I do walking and biking and yoga and dance.
Yoga, very good. Dancing is very good. I mean, go take some Zumba classes, or something that is new, that is funny, that is, because you're working on the body, operates on empowering the mind. And then also the nourishment of the body. I mean, be very careful what you eat, be very careful the kind of energy you put into your body, because we tempted, whenever we're down or we feel affected by trauma, we go for junk food, for sweets, for all the bad stuff that we're not supposed to put into the body. How is your eating, what are your eating habits?
You know, they're good. I would say when I get very anxious, or right now I feel like I'm in a trauma cycle, I can't really consume caffeine, and I can't consume sugar because it makes things so much worse. So
that's exactly what I'm saying.
I would say maybe my appetite is a little lower than normal, but I try to eat regular
So you
meals.
operate the opposite, because there's two opposites. Either there's people, when they traumatize, they go compulsively towards eating, and you eat compulsively everything, and usually you eat the bad stuff, or you withdraw completely and stop eating, you know. So these are the two extremes. Now, have you ever tried to...
So I can stop eating.
I'm listening.
But I try to eat regularly, because for me it would be, when I feel this way, it'd be easier not to eat.
Easier not to eat, yeah, I hear you. So is that's the way your body operates, and I kind of feel that I honor that. Now, have you ever tried, there's two other things that I recommend. Speaking the right words, you know, which expand the spectrum of your strength, like stand in front of a mirror and tell yourself, today I'm triumphing, I'm powerful, I'm better, I don't feel trauma anymore, I was able to cut the cord, it's like looking in a mirror and saying these words, because it's a way of reprogramming. The brain is wired, and it's wired incorrectly by the trauma. Your brain is programmed into the repetition of the traumatic event, and breaking that repetition means let's rewire the brain again. So that's why affirmations are very, very powerful. You can say things like, my pain is part of my past. I had the power to turn everything into victory. My path is clear. My suffering has been heard. I will make it out of this storm stronger. You know, unexpected blessings are waiting for me. So find words that will make you feel very good, and breaking through the pattern of thinking that is subconsciously programmed negatively already. Or write words, because writing, it's a way to express yourself. It's very therapeutical, you know. Try to write words that are inspiration to you, you know, and keep on speaking them loud, writing them, and visualizing them, like seeing yourself, as I said, you know, in a beautiful place, seeing yourself mentally protected, seeing your hopes, putting your hopes up there, your dreams coming through, envisioning a version of you that you always wanted to achieve. Does it make sense?
Yes.
So that's what I wanted to do.
I do need to rewire the brain.
Yeah, work on that and do everything that makes you happy. And in time, you know, this subside, but it's a very hard process. That's why, you know, I relate with what's happening in the news right now, and all the movement, Me Too movement, that has a lot to do with trauma that women have been going through when it comes to being betrayed, being cheated, being assaulted, being victimized, you know. And I really relate to this, because it's a moment to talk about trauma and to try to work on it, you know, not to mock this and not to make it, you know what I mean, political, but make it like a reality of our lives, you know, forever. We all go through situations like this. But Sharon, is there anything I can help you with?
No, I think that's it.
That's it. Okay, my angel. Thank you so much for calling me. And Elena, Adelina, Bianca, Dominguez, hold on the line. I'll be with you in a moment.
The best of the holistic, spiritual, and conscious world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
OMTimes magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. a philanthropic organisation. Their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. Connect at OMTimes.com. OMTimes, creating a more conscious lifestyle.
Hello, I'm Sandy Sedgbeer, host of OMTimes Magazine's flagship radio show, What is Going On? My passion is sifting through information, research and innovations from new thought teachers, speakers and researchers pushing back the boundaries of what we know about life, energy, metaphysics and the universe. I love shifting perceptions about who we are, why we're here, and how quickly impossible becomes normal when we open our minds, expand our awareness, and accept that the only limits that exist are those we place upon ourselves. So if you're the kind of forward-thinking, eager investigator of what lies beyond the current reality that most perceive, why not make a date to come play with me in the field of possibilities at 4 p.m. Pacific Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time every Thursday, and together we can discover what's really going on.
Hi, this is New Age Grammy winner Paul Avgerinos. Thanks for listening to OMTimes Radio, and please support my peaceful healing music with a purchase at iTunes, Amazon, or wherever you shop for fine music. Just put my name into the search engine, Paul Avgerinos. A, V like Victor, G like George, E-R-I-N-O-S. You can also visit me at roundskymusic.com. Thanks for listening, and I'm wishing you the brightest of blessings.
Melissa from Michigan. I work an extra part-time job serving lunch at my child's school, but I still can't afford to put food on our table.
Daniel from California. Choosing whether to pay the rent or pay to fix the car to get to work doesn't leave us with much at all. Now we can't even pay for meals.
Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Hi everybody, I'm back. I'm Carmen Harra on OMTime Radio. We're talking about trauma and how to recover from trauma. And you always have two choices when something bad happens. You can dwell on the moment and perpetuate the trauma, or you can choose to act against it. So acting against adversity means creating positivity in whatever way you can. For instance, if you recently separated from your partner, don't cry to be alone. Take time to rediscover yourself and look for your personal needs and look for somebody else. So the most important thing is not allowing yourself to fall victim to the circumstances. So you have this ability to counteract negativity with positivity. I know you're probably going to say, well, it's easy to say and it's hard to do. But if we're not doing anything, then we're really trapped in that cycle of trauma that me and Sharon were talking about. I'm going to go back to the phones, guys, and I'm going to talk to Adela. I think Adela from New Orleans. Hi, my dear Adela. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Carmen.
Hi, my love. So how do you resonate with my topic?
Well, my question isn't about me. It's about my daughter, and she's 5 years old. And about a week ago, she was in a cheerleading class, and she told me that I had dropped her off and I left to go return something to a store. And the teacher told me that she was crying over me. And when I asked her what was wrong, she said, I'm afraid you're going to get murdered. And she put like a knife to her neck and went. And she's a very independent girl, so I don't know where this fear has come from out of the blue.
Well, at 5 years old, we carry a lot of memories. We used to say we come from a drop of memory that knows everything about us. And usually around the age of 5, a lot is happening within us. There's a lot of awakening to this world that we start living in. And we even used to say that before the age of 2, 3 to the age of 9, children can see the other side where they're coming from. That's why the movie The Sixth Sense, when a 9-year-old used to talk about seeing that person. So kids at 5, at 6, they can claim playing with imaginary people, or they can claim seeing things that don't exist in our real world, but they see it. So your daughter is a very interesting soul who carries some kind of a memory. What I'm telling you might sound totally crazy. I feel that your daughter carries a memory from a life during the Second World War, in which she witnessed something happening that was pretty dramatic. And that memory can wake up in this life right now, out of the blue, at a certain moment, and nobody will understand. And you know what? If you, nowadays we take kids to therapy. Therapists will say that this is not normal, there's something wrong with the chemistry of the brain, and nothing may be wrong to her. She just has her own memories, her own vision. She's seeing something that nobody else can see. But is definitely something traumatic or a fear that is manifesting within her, and you need to talk to her more. You need to find out much more. What is she talking about? What is she really seeing? How is she perceiving it? And you have to make her feel very safe and very protected, but make her open to you. Did you try to talk to her more?
Yes, I did.
What is she really saying? Like, is she coming with something more in details?
She just said, Mama, I'm afraid that, there are a lot of bad people out there and that you're not going to come back.
Also, the fear is actually related to you. So she's afraid for you.
But she put like a knife in her neck. She was very specific.
So you're afraid that you might be attacked by somebody with a knife or something like this.
Well,
am I understanding correctly?
Someone was going to murder me with a knife.
With a knife. That's exactly what I thought. Well, I think that she's having a vision of something that comes from a different experience, not from this one in this life, and she's projected it in this life. She's projecting it right now, In this life, we have memories of previous experiences. So when we come with all these memories, I've seen kids speaking a different language when they, at the age of 3, 4, they start speaking, or Mozart playing the piano at the age of 4, having no idea, nobody taught him the piano. Amazing things that happen to people who carry memories from other lives. I always remember myself when I was a kid living a life in Paris and being an opera singer, and I speak perfect French without necessarily learning too much the language. When I was a kid, nobody spoke French. So there are things that are so fascinating happening to us that the brain operates to that memory. So I think she's seeing something that actually did happen, but not in this lifetime, but she's projecting it. So she might carry this for a while, but you need to make her feel like everything is okay and you are safe. And then the memory might go dormant and come back again later on in life when she will be able to understand it better. You know what will help her when she's going to turn around 15, 16 to do a hypnosis? I hypnotized a 15-year-old boy who described me exactly the way he died in an airplane. And guess what? We found out in 1997 there was a plane that crashed over New York. And he knew his name, and we checked the name was on that plane of that young boy who died. And he remembered the way he died, the way he's dressed, and his name. You believe this? Under hypnotherapy. And this kid was the #1 tennis player in his age group, and he couldn't fly because anytime he was in an airplane, he was like, he was acting like somebody who was dying. His heart was racing and he was losing himself. And when he remembered this, after that he was able to fly because the memory was brought fully to life, So that was the only way that we could delete that impression that he lived all the time under, the way he died in his previous life. It was a fascinating experience for me. So when your daughter gets old, my daughter, believe it or not, I hypnotized her at 6 years old, and she was describing the walls of the pyramid. My daughter was telling me how she was living in Egypt, and she was describing me the pyramid, and who she was absolutely the most, at 6 years old, fascinating experience I've ever had. Yeah. So I tell you, your daughter is somebody who I found extremely powerful, extremely sensitive, extremely intuitive, and I would love to meet her one day.
So you think talking about it will help her to get over it?
And talk to her exactly at night when she's half asleep, when she's ready to go to sleep, because you access the subconscious mind as you go into sleep. And when you see her like half asleep, start provoking her into describing what she sees. And the more she's going to start talking, the more she's going to go deeper into the experience and come up with details that will fascinate you. And I just beg you to call me back on the show so that we can talk much more about it, because I found this amazingly interesting.
Thank you so much, Karen.
Oh, I love you. And feel free to call me back. Please, please, please.
Thank you. Have a good night, Karen.
You too, my dear. Love you.
Love you too.
I love you. I don't know if I'm going to a break. I'm going to ask my wonderful Christopher if we need to go to a break right now. Okay, we are. So we'll be back. Bianca, Elena from New York, Domingas, I'll be back with you in a minute. Thank you for listening.
The best of holistic, spiritual, and conscious world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Ascending Hearts is no ordinary dating site, but a spiritual dating site with a purpose, to link you with your soulmate. We engineer the serendipity so you can trust that you will attune with someone that has the same matching vibration as you. Ascending Hearts, the conscious dating site for the spiritually aware. Try Ascending Hearts for free. AscendingHearts.com.
Hello, I'm Lisa Berry. Join me every Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time for Light on Living. A chance to see new, hear different, and feel more as I shine the spotlight on all the ways to lighten the load of life's challenges. Light on Living is your link to that new way you're looking for, that new understanding that will enhance your life, and that positive connection that will support your growth. So join me and you'll gain insight and start to see things in a new way that motivates you.
Hi, this is recording artist and composer Yuval Ran, inviting you to a voyage through the chakras, a new double album of guided meditations to transform your life, a sublime musical medicine for nourishing inner peace and reaching to your higher virtues. Get it now at metamindfulnessmusic.com. METTA mindfulnessmusic.com.
I am Fidel Nsombo. I was born in a city called the Bukavu in the Congo. We were a loving family, and then, boom, everything that I had disappeared in a single day. People think that when you are a refugee and they resettle you to America, and all your problems are done. They don't understand that that's the beginning of everything. I was not born a refugee. I was made one.
It's time we welcome refugee families with open arms. Learn more at embracerefugees.org, brought to you by the Ad Council.
Hello everybody, I'm Carmen Harra, back on OMTime Radio with a great topic, I think, how to recover from trauma, how to heal. And I also want you to remember that the universe gives us superhuman powers when we truly need them. So recognize that you are an open channel of energy and call on your divine source to refuel you with strength and healing when you go into a hard time. So think of this for a moment, and I'm going to go back to the phones and I'm going to talk to Elena from New York. Hi, Elena. How are you, my dear?
Hi, Carmen. Good to hear you. So I
How are you, my
certainly
love?
relate to this topic. Hello?
You do? Okay. Tell me a little bit about your experience and the way you're handling. And what was the kind of trauma that affected you most?
Well, I think, I think I've been dealing for a long time with this, what seems to be like a pattern of financial difficulty or feeling lack, and it seems to keep recurring. So I was really listening to what you had to say about trauma, and then, and do you feel that that's what's happening with me? And it just seems
I think
to keep
it
coming
is.
back and coming back.
It's coming back. So it's, the lack of money breeds so much so much negativity, so much hardship, up to a point that you cannot function at your potential, and you cannot grow, and you cannot recover your path, and you feel like you always losing your track and losing your direction. So it is traumatizing to feel like you can lose your home, or you can lose your car, or you can lose. Did you experience any of this? Like losing?
Yes, all of that.
All of that. So trauma comes in different forms. Trauma doesn't necessarily have to be that somebody abused you, but money can be a source of emotional abuse. So it's money is what we used to say, the root of all evil. So obviously, when that is happening, at the extent it happened to you because it keeps on reoccurring and reoccurring and reoccurring, then you obviously can see I've been badly affected, and I cannot break that constant repetition of negativity when it comes to money. So I think a lot of exercises, again, rewiring the brain to see yourself very successful, like try to break the cycle by bringing in money, because you have the potential, like I personally feel like you have a lot of potential to generate a lot of money, but losing it is where the problem is. A lot of people make money, and the way they make money, as easy as 1, 2, 3, the money is all gone or the money is lost. And actually, you can see this even at the level of the people, the highest position in government, or people who went through a crisis, or even people in government who lost their money, end up in prison. The danger of happening that, I see this with Jerry Kushner. The father was in prison. He had problem with the 666, very symbolic building. Will, in spite of all the power, that's a prediction of mine, all the power that's behind that, the karma will hit again, and will strike again. And will strike where it did strike before. You understand? So no matter how powerful you are, that can hit you again. You understand what I'm trying to say? So the repetition of something dramatic can come back. Now, in your case, I feel like you are on the way of recovery. I personally think you are going to get much better. Usually I recommend in cases like this, change your home, change your area, change your location. Get rid of everything that attach you to the dark times, Try to throw to the garbage everything that builds the memory, because all you need is one element that is triggered, and the moment the element is triggered, the experience gets up repeating again and again. So you have to remove, detach, and cleanse and eliminate anything that can bring the memory back to the surface, to the moment in which you went through a loss. You understand?
Yeah.
And then, as I said, replace everything in your mind, like do the reflection of your past, so that you see yourself progressing. Even I want you to create a journal in which you translate your intention into words. You write down the things that you're going to accomplish. I see you accomplishing a lot in the near future, more than you've ever did. And through your accomplishing, you break the pattern. You will be, I really believe that you will be very okay. I feel it in my heart. So I'm telling you not to make you content, but because I really believe that you're going to be able to fully break through this.
Oh, thank you so much. I mean, everything you say makes sense. You know, it's true that I do a lot of work to overcome this, but I really hear what you're saying about clearing things associated with the trigger.
Everything associated with the trigger, but you know what I mean? You never gave up. You know, I feel like you were actually, in fact, I think of you like an example for a lot of women who never give up and continue to build on creativity and reinvent themselves. And this is your key to surviving the trauma and breaking through it, you know what I mean? And rising up again and doing well. And I really see that you have a phenomenal year ahead of you with a lot of achievement that will make you stabilize the financial energy. So it'll be perfectly fine, and I love you. And,
I love you too. Thank you.
Call anytime. Absolutely. I'm going to go to Bianca or Blanca from Texas. Hi, Blanca. Hi, my dear.
Hi. Hi, how are you?
I'm so happy to hear you. How are you, my dear?
I'm okay. I could be better.
You could be better. So, do you relate to my topic? Anything in your heart in your life that seems to be hard or seems to be dramatic or seems to be traumatizing you? Anything that is painful? Mm-hmm.
Well, yes, I resonated with all of it, with everybody that was on the call.
Right.
But I did, I always I had this fear about my children, like something happening to them. I mean, to this day, I pray to the angels to protect them, wherever they go, whenever they're at school, whenever I'm at work. But every time I listen to one of these messages, it kind of like brings me back. I'm like, is
this something that something that happened to you in the childhood? Was this something that happened to you when you were a baby, like a 6-year-old, a 10-year-old? Anything that you remember? Because I feel like your fear for your own kids is rooted into your upbringing, into something that happens within your at the beginning of your life.
Not that I know, not that I remember, but I remember my little one of my sisters when she was little. I was 7, and I always prayed like for her to be healthy and for her to be okay, because I had a fear that she would die.
But you see, in other words, that's what I'm saying. The fear for your kids go back to a fear when you were a little girl, you know. So you came with this fear. This fear didn't quite originated when you turned 25, you know what I mean? The fear was there when you were 7. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So you go back when you were just a 7-year-old who had fear for somebody else who she cares so much. Exactly the same fear you had for your sister is projected into the fear for your kids. Now, in this case, the fear is originated somewhere else. You carry this fear with you from a trauma that could have been inflicted in a previous life, if you believe in that. It's like you see people coming to life and they cry all the time and they're so traumatized, or kids that are born sick. And you always question, why are kids born sick? Because they haven't done anything wrong. They're so pure, they're so innocent. But that disease and whatever trauma they carry, it comes from an imprint of something that happened before. That's why the DNA you're coming from has memory of everything that you've ever been and everything that ever happened to you. So I think that the impression that you have, and in your case, I really recommend again the hypnotherapy. You might remember something interesting, and then hypnotherapy becomes a tool to help you delete the trauma, overcome this phobia of, oh my God, what's going to happen to my kids? That constant fear that somebody will do something wrong to them, which is terrifying. It's terrifying to live with. And you will continue to live with, you know what I mean? I don't want you to do that. I want you to delete that. So I think that there is a way. Give me a call, and I can guide you through this. I can guide you to a self-hypnosis that can make you remember something. Because the moment you remember, the impression is gone. It's so fascinating how an unconscious memory brought to the cognitive mind will delete the impression. So give me a call. I'll explain you what to do. It's my treat to you if you call me. I'll give you my number, 917-771-6035. 917-771-6035, and give me a call whenever you have a moment, and I'll explain you what you need to do. So there's a way of self-hypnotizing, and I think that's going to take care of everything. And you will feel different, and your sensation of something happening is pretty much kind of, go away. You will see that. You will see.
Okay. Thank you.
You will see a huge change. So, anything else you need, or that's pretty much it?
Well, that's pretty much it. I do. I have this constant presence of my dad and my brother that passed within the last 9 months.
Well, you're very open. You're very open to them. You know what I mean? You're very open. So your brother's deceased?
Yes. He passed in December and my dad in February.
Oh, your brother was 40-something?
He was 38.
Oh, 38? You know what?
Yeah,
I heard 48 in my head, so probably I got the first number wrong. So I actually sense a man who was relatively young, and I have a feeling of him. He's smiling at me. He said he's doing very well. He shows me a little boy. He had a boy, or you have a boy?
He had a boy, and I have 3 boys.
Yeah, so he shows me a little boy. I don't know what he's trying to say by that. He shows me an M and a J or G. Does it resonate in any way? Yeah.
G is his son's name.
Okay, so he's referring to him. He's talking about him, and he wants you to be in touch. He said, help me by being in touch. He's looking for his father, for your dad, and he's going to find him soon. He said he thinks he knows where he is. It's interesting, your father's mom, your grandma waited for your father. So yes. And now your brother will join them. So he wants you, because it's interesting, he's the one that jumped into the conversation. So he wants you to know that they are doing okay. So he wants you to know that they are going to reconnect. And he talks about a celebration during the month of December, and that you will have some signs from them. And he said he's going to come to you you're going to have a dream of him, and he's going to have like a white shirt, and he's going to bring you flowers. There's something beautiful that he's talking about, and you're going to feel protected by him, and you will feel the connection with him and with the other people on the other side, and also your daddy. So, and your daddy is here now, and he shows me an A. What is this A name for?
His name, probably.
His name started with an A?
Yes.
Yes, so that's him. Yeah, he shows me a big A. When they usually show a name, that's their way of identifying themselves. So, oh, I know how you feel. I love you. I'm so glad that you called, because
I did too.
I'm glad that you called, because this is the way that you create the healing. You're talking about trauma. It's traumatic to lose your father. It's traumatic to lose a young brother. This is a trauma. This explains also the fear for others, the fears for your kids, because you witness so much pain and so much suffering,
Yeah.
So I want you to call me, my love, and I want you to be in touch with me, and I'm here to help you, and anytime you want to talk, feel free to call, and we are here for you.
Thank you very much.
And I send you so much love. Okay, my angel. Thank you, my love. And I think, a bit more to say hello to Domingas, my forever friend. Hi, Domingas, my angel. Hello? Well, I think probably Dominguez had been waiting for such a long time. She probably is gone. But you guys, I am so grateful that you listen to my show. And for you who want to call back next time, I'm going to be here on Time Radio, 7 p.m. Eastern Time with my wonderful Christopher. And we are always here to be at service. We are here for you. This is a calling show, so anytime you want, feel free to call in. And in case you want a session with me on the phone, on Skype, on FaceTime, I offer you for the next week, buy one, get one free. So email me at CarmenHarra, Carmen Harra, AOL, in order to schedule. So I'm Carmen Harra, and I'll talk to you next Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time with Christopher on Home Time Radio. I love you guys. Thank you for listening.